Most young men will never say it out loud, but they lie awake at night wondering if something is wrong with them. They search in silence, they compare themselves in secrecy, and they carry questions that feel too embarrassing to ask. If you have ever experienced nightfall, also known as nocturnal emissions, and then found yourself worrying about premature ejaculation, you are not alone. The fear often grows in the dark, fueled by myths, misinformation, and exaggerated claims that circulate online. But here is the truth. Your body is not your enemy. Your physiology is not a flaw. In fact, what you may be afraid of could be a completely natural biological function. Nightfall is simply the body's way of releasing built-up semen during sleep, often triggered by normal hormonal activity and dream cycles. It is especially common during adolescence and young adulthood, when testosterone levels are high and reproductive systems are highly active. Yet many young men interpret this natural process as weakness, loss of control, or even damage to their sexual performance. They begin to connect nightfall with premature ejaculation, assuming that one must cause the other. That assumption creates anxiety, and anxiety is far more powerful than most people realize. Anxiety changes the way you think about your body. It creates hyper-awareness. It makes you monitor every sensation. And when performance becomes something you fear, your mind can begin influencing outcomes in ways that feel very real. Dr. Mohit Khera, a respected voice in men's sexual health, has consistently emphasized that education is the strongest medicine against fear. When you understand what is happening inside your body, uncertainty loses its power. Nocturnal emissions are involuntary. They occur without conscious control. Premature ejaculation, on the other hand, is typically defined as ejaculation that happens sooner than desired during partnered sexual activity, often accompanied by distress. These are two separate physiological experiences. The body's nighttime release does not automatically train it to lose control during intimacy. However, when a young man believes it does, that belief can plant seeds of doubt. Doubt leads to tension. Tension disrupts confidence. And confidence is one of the most important elements of sexual health. What begins as a normal biological event can slowly transform into a psychological burden simply because of misunderstanding. The real danger is not the nightfall itself, but the story you attach to it. When you label it as harmful, you create stress. When you fear stress, your nervous system shifts into alert mode. And when the nervous system is on alert, it does not prioritize calm control. It prioritizes urgency. This is why knowledge matters. This is why clarity matters. Your body has rhythms. Your hormones fluctuate. Your reproductive system operates even when you sleep. None of this is a sign of weakness. None of this is a sign that you are broken. It is biology unfolding exactly as it was designed to do. But what if the real issue is not the biology, but the belief system built around it? This is where the suspense truly begins. Because many young men are not suffering from a physical disorder at all. They are suffering from a mental narrative that has quietly taken control of their confidence. Imagine carrying the idea that every nocturnal emission is draining your strength, weakening your masculinity, or programming your body for failure. That constant worry does not stay confined to your thoughts. It travels through your nervous system, tightens your muscles, shortens your breath, and places your mind in a state of anticipation. And anticipation, when mixed with fear, creates pressure. Pressure is the silent force that transforms normal sexual response into rushed performance. The human body operates under two primary nervous system states, relaxed or stressed. In a relaxed state, the parasympathetic system supports control, awareness, and balance. In a stressed state, the sympathetic system prepares you for urgency and rapid response. If you repeatedly tell yourself that nightfall is harmful, your brain begins associating sexual function with danger. That association can make you hyper-focused during intimacy, worrying about timing instead of connection. Dr. Mohit Khera often explains that premature ejaculation is frequently influenced by psychological conditioning rather than structural damage. There is no scientific evidence proving that normal nocturnal emissions directly cause premature ejaculation. However, there is strong evidence that anxiety, guilt, shame, and misinformation significantly impact sexual performance. The suspense lies in this realization. The thing you feared might not be causing the problem at all, but your fear of it might be shaping your experience. When a young man reads exaggerated claims online, suggesting that every semen release is a loss of vitality, he internalizes stress. When he believes that stress equals weakness, he loses trust in his body. Once trust is broken, performance becomes something to control rather than something to experience. And when you try to control every second, the body resists. Sexual response is not meant to be forced, it is meant to flow. The body is intelligent. It regulates hormone levels. It continuously produces sperm. It maintains equilibrium without conscious effort. Nightfall is simply one expression of that regulation. The crucial question is not whether it happens, but how you interpret it. If you view it as natural, it remains natural. If you label it as harmful, your mind reacts defensively. The suspense resolves when you understand that knowledge dissolves fear. There is no hidden damage occurring in healthy individuals who experience occasional nocturnal emissions. There is no countdown clock shortening your control. What exists instead is a misunderstanding that has been amplified by silence. The moment you replace myth with medical clarity, your nervous system relaxes. When your nervous system relaxes, control improves. When control improves, confidence returns. And when confidence returns, performance becomes a reflection of calm awareness rather than panic. The connection between nightfall and premature ejaculation is not rooted in biology, but in belief. And belief can be reshaped through education, patience, and disciplined thinking. Understanding this truth changes everything, because once you realize that your body is not betraying you, you can begin rebuilding trust with yourself. Trust is the foundation of masculine confidence, and confidence is not built by suppressing natural processes, but by understanding them. Nightfall is common during adolescence and early adulthood, and in many cases it decreases naturally with age as hormone levels stabilize and sexual patterns become more regulated. It does not mean you are losing strength. It does not mean you are depleting energy. It does not mean you are programming your body for premature ejaculation. What truly shapes long-term sexual health is lifestyle, mental conditioning, and emotional balance. Sleep quality, physical fitness, stress management, and open communication all influence performance far more than an involuntary release during sleep. When treatment is needed, it is usually because premature ejaculation is persistent, distressing, and occurring consistently during partnered intimacy despite attempts to improve control. That is when professional evaluation becomes valuable, not because something is broken, but because guidance accelerates improvement. Dr. Mohit Khera emphasizes that men should seek help when symptoms create emotional strain or relationship challenges, not simply because of isolated experiences. Occasional nightfall does not require medication. It does not require panic. It requires understanding. The human reproductive system is self-regulating. Semen is continuously produced. Hormones fluctuate daily. The body has built-in mechanisms to maintain balance. When you accept that, fear begins to lose its grip. Strength is not the absence of natural bodily functions. Strength is the ability to respond to them with knowledge and composure. If anxiety has been influencing your confidence, you can retrain your mind through education, mindfulness, and gradual exposure to calm experiences. Deep breathing techniques, pelvic floor awareness, and cognitive reframing are tools that restore control because they calm the nervous system. When the nervous system is calm, timing improves. When timing improves, self-assurance grows. And when self-assurance grows, performance follows naturally. The journey towards sexual health is not about chasing perfection. It is about building awareness and eliminating myths that have no scientific foundation. You are not defined by a nocturnal emission. You are not defined by a moment of rapid climax. You are defined by your willingness to learn, adapt, and strengthen your understanding. The real transformation happens when you shift from fear-based thinking to knowledge-based confidence. That shift restores dignity, clarity, and control.